Good morning. This is the Great Basin Smoke Dispersion Briefing for Friday, October 18th. Taking a look at precipitation over the past 24 hours, some moderate amounts here, about a tenth to a quarter of an inch, and locally higher amounts that we see as bright green shade through here, mainly across northwestern Utah, parts of southwestern Utah as well, and lighter amounts as you head up into Idaho and parts of western Wyoming. But the big story was the week or two previous to this precipitation event. On the left, we are bone dry for the past 7 days across the Great Basin. On the right-hand side, just a few light amounts here, a couple hundredths of an inch over Idaho and far northern Nevada, parts of western Wyoming. Otherwise, bone dry for 2 weeks across most of Utah, Nevada, and the Arizona Strip during this time period. I did have some light snow amounts here across the Uintas and the northern Wasatch, 1 to 3 inches of snow, maybe some locally higher amounts. There were some higher amounts here in the last 72 hours in the mountains of central Idaho, the dark blue to yellow, about 6 inches, maybe locally 8 inches where you see the yellow shades. And just a few inches of light snow cover wherever you see this lightish gray white shading across the northern borders of the Great Basin. Now, because of the dryness of the past week or two, our ERCs across much of southern and central Utah and the eastern areas are in the 90th to as much as close to the 96th percentile. You see the red and dark red shades drying between the 80th and 90th percentile across parts of southern Nevada, even drying out across parts of southern Wyoming here and parts of southern Utah, southern Idaho as well. So that is something worth watching for the next couple of days. Satellite imagery shows a more winter-like pattern, fast-moving systems coming on in. You see the clouds across northern California, the tight height packings through here. The yellow lines together indicate strong winds aloft. This trough low pressure was the system that produced precipitation late yesterday into the overnight hours, now shifting out into Colorado and the Midwest. But more waves, you can see those enhanced clouds waiting in the wings, and this more enhanced area you see here will combine with some northern stream energy and give us another storm for northern portions by this weekend. So for later today, you can see that we start to dry out. Moisture that was with us has now moved out into the Midwest. There's that next moisture, that next disturbance, kind of dry in between. On the right-hand side, smoke dispersion excellent in most areas where you see the white. Transport winds fairly light in the gray shades. Where you see the dark green shades, we're looking at transport winds somewhere in the 20 mile per hour range. Vertical mixing in those enhanced orange to red areas several thousand feet above ground level. Now for Saturday, there is that storm system dropping on down. Looking through here, definitely deeper moisture. So where you see these dark green areas, northern Utah, northeast Nevada, through the mountains of just about all of Idaho and western Wyoming, there will be several hours of steady precipitation with the cooler air coming in. Snow levels be kind of low, probably as low as 6,000 feet. Excellent overall dispersion here on the right-hand side. You can see some strong winds coming in through here out of the west and northwest areas. In the brown, could see gusts over 50, 60 miles per hour. Excellent overall mixing. On Sunday, that system quickly moves out. Still good overall mixing. Lots of areas in the white. Our flow pattern becomes more northwesterly. You can see some of those northwest winds through here. Strongest across the higher terrain of eastern Utah and western Wyoming. Otherwise, lighter winds further to the west. Still excellent overall mixing. The Utah Clearing Index, dispersion, where you see the reddish shades, it's really good. So between today and Sunday, excellent, and even Saturday, not too bad as well. Limited a bit by cloud cover, but other than that, it looks pretty good next couple of days dispersion-wise. These are the 3-day precipitation totals that we expect. Heaviest amounts here, we see the blue shades, a half inch to an inch of precipitation across the higher terrain of northern Utah, some of the mountains of central Idaho, and western Wyoming as well. And it'll probably translate to about 5 to 10 inches of snowfall across higher terrain above 6,000 feet. But you did see that it was dry further to the south, and that trend's going to continue because we see a major drying trend next week working its way from the western portion of the Great Basin on eastwards, lingering clouds and moisture across far northern Idaho and western Wyoming. Dispersion still good in all areas. Some weak disturbances moving through here on Tuesday, but still dry and fairly warm to the south. On the right-hand side, you see still excellent overall dispersion, starting to take a little downward hit along the Arizona border, but still overall good on Wednesday, where we have northwest wind flow aloft. We're not under a high-pressure ridge out here, so still some good overall dispersion. But that high-pressure ridge does start to build in by Thursday. It'll get progressively warmer through the latter half of next week, probably to temperature levels 5 to 10 degrees above normal, especially across the western Great Basin by the time we get on into Thursday and beyond. Still good overall dispersion with light northerly wind flow. Precipitation accumulation days 4 and 5. Nothing much to speak of other than some precipitation in western Wyoming and in the mountains of central Idaho. And days 6 and 7, again, mostly dry across the Great Basin. And that dryness will continue because the 8 to 14-day outlook from October 25th through the 31st shows considerably drier than normal conditions across the entire Great Basin, with seasonable to slightly cooler than normal temperatures across eastern areas, warmer than normal across the west. This concludes our briefing. Our next one will be coming up this Monday. Have a great weekend.